Good morning, everybody. I was about to say good afternoon there, but good morning. Well, it's lunchtime.
For us, it's lunchtime. In Europe, it's
good afternoon, everybody. Good
Yeah.
morning if you're in Central Europe, and good morning at 10 o'clock in the UK if you're watching there. But welcome to our live studio show here on MXGPTV.com. Round 18 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Turkey, at a brand new venue at the Afyon Motorsports Centre. For our live studio show, we've got our first guest in place already from Team Diga Procross, Brent Van Donnet. We've got Kevin Strybos coming in later, and at the same time, the team owner for Wilvo Yamaha, of course, Louis Fosters. As I said, brand new facility here. We'll get Brent's thoughts on it in a moment. But before we start the show, Lisa Leyland, the final round in our 3 in a row on the road. It's kind of gone quite quickly, hasn't it? Or is that just me?
No, it's flown by. But I guess time flies when you're having fun. But I've been looking forward to coming here all year, and I just think it has not disappointed. So we were last here almost 10 years ago, weren't we, in Turkey?
10 years ago. And you were there.
I know, I said we. We were almost there 10 years ago.
Exactly. It's kind of, I don't know, I feel like our summer vacation is almost coming to an end. Because we'll go back from here, we'll go back to Europe, and it'll be cold and miserable. And I like the sun. I like the sun.
I do. It's a lot of sun this weekend, that's for sure. It's warm out.
Yeah.
It is warm.
It is. It's like 30-odd degrees. Well, anyway, let's get on with the show.
Yeah.
Brent Van Donnet, Team Diga Procross. Husqvarna is with us. Brent, welcome to our studio show.
Thank you.
Just looking back, obviously your relatively short career in MX2. We saw your promise as a European 125 rider, 250. But it just seems like you've never quite achieved, what we expected you to achieve. Would you say that's down to injuries and being unlucky with injuries over the last few years?
Yeah, I never had a perfect year, actually. Always some injuries. Like last winter also I had 4 surgeries again. Yeah, it's been tough for me. I've had a tough couple of years. I would say my first year at Kamea was the best, actually, when I was 19. But, I still have 1 more year to go, and I hope to make a good year next year. So, it's not over yet. And, yeah, like I said, I mean, I have still 1 more year, and I want to get the best out of it.
In the winter, you switched from Yamaha to Husqvarna after 4 years of being on the Yamaha. How difficult was it changing from blue to white?
Yeah, it was hard because I didn't have so much time because I started riding in like beginning of February, and yeah, the first GP was already in March, so didn't have that much time, just a few weeks, and those few first weeks were really hard. I first had to get used to ride with less mobility in my wrist also, and that took a while, and then to get used to the bike also. So
that was the thing I was after.
Yeah, so that was tough. But I feel really good on the bike now, actually. Since a couple of races ago, I feel really comfortable on the bike. We made a few changes, like suspension wise, and yeah, I'm feeling much better now. So I hope I can get the best out of it the next 3 races.
Good.
Well, it's good to hear you're feeling better now, but I guess your pre-season was hit with surgeries, and then the Ottaviano team you were a part of, that had difficulties. So it must have been pretty tough for you to actually stay focused on the racing, or not. I mean, this is just...
Yeah, this is from Valkenswaard when you were there.
But yeah.
Was that a difficult period for you, like during when, obviously not Valkenswaard, but later on in the season when these things were happening?
Yeah, it sure was. I mean, was always unsure if we were going to the weekend or not. And then also when I heard that the team was stopping officially, yeah, I mean, I had to look for something else, and I was really happy that Justin Amiot gave me the chance to get in his team and finish the season there. And yeah, I have a feeling since then it started going again in the right direction also.
Well, like you said, you're now with Diga Procross Husqvarna. New team, new personnel, but the bike remains the same, doesn't it?
Yeah, the bike was quite the same. We had a different tuner actually, but like suspension, everything was same, frame of course. And yeah, also for them everything was new because it's now their first year in MX2. They were riding European first, and it's yeah, for MX2 it's a whole different schedule, much more work of course also. So that was hard to adapt also for the team.
just picking up on something Lisa just asked you there, like new team, new everything, but do you have a new mechanic as well? Or did you bring your mechanic with you?
No, I have a new mechanic also.
So that's also something you have to, because like mechanics and riders are normally quite close, and
it is,
they know how each other likes things and how they work, and he can see from how you're riding, maybe something is not working on the bike, but can just make some adjustments. So that must be strange.
Yeah,
or at the beginning anyway.
Yeah, I had a really good relationship actually with my mechanic at Ottobiano, with Tonino actually was his name, and but Andre, my new mechanic now, is also a very good guy, working really hard, and I mean, for sure the first few weeks takes a little bit time to get to know each other, and but like I said, now everything is just fine. Just
looking here, this was a week ago in Bulgaria. Obviously, since you've made the change, there's going to be a period of some races where you are getting used to the new team, the new environment, but 2 9th places in Samarang, 9th overall, 8th in the first race here last week. That was your best performance of the year so far. So you must be feeling more comfortable.
Yeah, I do. I mean...
and it was on hardpack. You're a sand rider.
It is. I actually feel quite good on that track. I had a really good race there a few years ago. My first year on the 125.
Yeah.
I had my first race there, and I did pretty good actually there also. And I mean, I'm a sand rider, but I love to ride hardpack also. Switzerland is not my thing really, but Bulgaria,
Blueproof.
Yeah,
hard and slick.
I enjoy.
Good.
Well, it's a new venue this weekend here in Turkey. You've just had practice. What are your thoughts out there?
It's a really fast track, especially this morning also because there are only 2 classes, you know, so no European riders, so the track doesn't get that bumpy. I had a pretty big crash actually in free practice, but I'm alright. I have a little bit of feeling like I'm riding Qatar actually. Also the dirt is quite similar.
Yeah.
It was quite fun. We have some nice jumps out here also, and
Yeah, it looks. I mean, we had a big rainstorm on Wednesday when the teams were arriving. So when we arrived, I arrived at the track Thursday, and it was pretty wet everywhere. But then they turned it over yesterday. It still looked pretty soft. But actually, I thought the condition of the ground, apart from that soft patch that you hit this morning, you know, generally was a lot firmer than a lot of people were, you know, anticipating. Yeah.
Okay.
But as you said, very similar in terms of the layout and the nature of the ground. Start's going to be important then this weekend because, like you say, no European Championship riders, nothing to create more lines, create more bumps.
Yeah. Starts are always has been my problem a little bit. Like last week, I got 2 pretty good starts actually. 3 times actually in the top 10. I was really good. That helps a lot. I mean, when you need to come always from outside top 20 or something. I mean, like this. That's what I feel also this year. Like other years, even when I had a bad start, I always came back to a top 10 place. But now it feels so hard to even get, you know, from top 15. It gets really hard already. Like I feel it's the speed, or like it's more wide. I mean, there are more fast riders this year.
Yeah. Okay, well, look, just 3 more rounds to go, including this one. All the best for the rest of the season. Assen in a couple of weeks' time, of course, deep sand race. And then Italy. But Brent, thanks for joining us here, and have a good weekend.
Thanks,
right, Kevin Strybos is in the building, so before we meet him, let's see what happened last week in Bulgaria. Here's some highlights from MX2 Race 2.
MX2 Race 2, a freshly watered track. Because of the hot conditions here, did not prevent Jorge Prado from taking his 23rd foxhole shot. Thomas Covington, Thomas Olsen fell at turn 1. So too did Anthony Rodriguez, but Brent Van Donnick out. He was 8th in race 1. Start of the second lap though, Jonas went crashing to the ground as he challenged his teammate for the lead. He picked himself up in 4th, but it was a race that he would rather forget. Olsen was on the charge once more. He brushed aside the 56 of Weltin. Jacoby tried to follow him through, but he fell. He picked himself back up, rejoined the race, but would fall a little later on. Bas Varson was in a battle with Bernardini and the Brazilian, Gustav Pessoa. But then Jacoby fell, and this time he was out for good. The STC Racing Husqvarna rider looked in a little discomfort. Bernardini tried to outfox Thomas Covington as he charged his way through the field, but the American was having none of it. He surged his way to 11th by the time the checkered flag fell. Vassen, though, was another rider that got caught out by Thomas Covington's charge. That move put Vassen in 12th, as Watson looked good in 3rd, but for how much longer? The Khmer Yamaha finally came unstuck as Jonas charged through with 3 laps to go on his Red Bull KTM. Hunter Lawrence was closing in on Jorge Prado as they battled for the lead. A slight mistake here for the number 61 almost allowed Lawrence a way through to the front. He made 1 or 2 little mistakes in the end though, and that allowed Prado off the hook. But it was still close as they charged down to the finish line on the final lap. 0.6 of a second separated Prado and Lawrence. Prado took his 13th race win of the season. It was also his 13th career Grand Prix victory, his 10th of the year as well. And he gained more ground on his teammate Jonas, who was 2nd overall this weekend. Lawrence 3rd, his 3rd podium of the year. Prado now 30 points clear. It was 28 at the start of the weekend. Thomas Olsen remains in 3rd. Fantastic day though for Jorge Prado as he continues to lead. Time is running out for Jonas as well as he looks to defend his title.
Well, that was just a week ago in Bulgaria. I'm pleased to say our second guest has arrived now, Kevin Strybos. And this is a guy that's won an FIM Junior World Championship. He's been European 125 champion. He's won a Motocross of Nations gold for Team Belgium as well. And seems like he's been around forever. Kevin Strybos, welcome.
He is 107 years old.
100, oh, I thought it was 108.
108.
Okay. Almost. But you've been around forever. Obviously, you know, when we look at where you started in MX1 back then, you still enjoy it? You still enjoy getting up in the morning and going training, going riding, coming here to the races?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think it's, if I don't enjoy it anymore, I think it's time to stop. And but at the moment, it's still going good. You know, with the injuries, it's sometimes a little bit difficult, but as soon as we get started, it's all nice, or it's still nice to be here.
Yeah, almost at the end of the season. How would you kind of sum up your season, 2018?
Yeah, it's most of the time I got injured. You know, first the collarbone, which was healed quite quick, so I was happy with that. But then I got the inflammation on the elbow again. So it bothers me quite a lot, and every time I need to get the injection and all that. So, but yeah, you know, I still try to go through Assen and Italy, and then then probably I get the operation.
As you mentioned, you had an injury setback at the start of the season with your collarbone. But how were you feeling before that? Were you feeling in pretty good shape?
Yeah, actually I did, you know, because we were in Spain with Glenn and Jeffrey, you know, and riding was going good. I was feeling good. I was feeling strong and fast, and yeah, then the collarbone happened, and I don't know, you know, after that it was quite difficult to get back, and but yeah, it is what it is, you know. I tried to make the best of it. So.
Now, you had a team and bike change in the off-season from Suzuki to Standing Construct KTM. We were all surprised when Suzuki pulled out, but for you guys, it must have felt like a real kick below the belt. Yeah,
for sure. You know, I mean, I was out already before they announced. So, but anyway, you know, I think it's it's a shame that they pulled out, and I don't know the exact reason, but. Yeah, you know, it's always it's a shame that a brand pulls out of the GPs or whatever, you know. So hopefully they will come back soon, and they will get some riders on, because also, you know, at this time to search, I mean, there are more riders than teams, you know. So if teams are not going, then it's quite difficult. But yeah.
Well, just before we look at how you can follow us on MXGP, 7th is your best race so far. Individual race finish, Ottaviano. Turn back the clock a little bit that day. You poured a foxhole shot. You led a little bit. And like I say, your best finish of the season. Did that feel good? Kind of being right there instead of like making a poor start and being around 10 or 11, 12. You were right at the front again. And like I said, just Kevin Strybos came to play that day.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it felt good, but it also felt strange, you know, because it was such a long time ago. I was up front, and I was yeah, I was pushing hard, you know, the first 15 minutes, and after that I got a bit tired. So luckily there were some gaps, and yeah, I could finish 7. And yeah, there was a good day, you know. Got a good start, so obviously that helped a bit. And so yeah, hopefully I can do it again.
But that also shows how important a good start is, because you go with the flow, don't you? Everyone's pushing at the front. They make the gap with the guys behind. So when you started to get tired and you needed to just take that and just back off, 7th, there was still a big gap behind you.
Yeah,
whereas
for sure.
when it's the other way, you start in 15 and you're tired, the gaps are, you know, you might drop to 20, for instance.
Yeah, and also, you know, like on the first laps, I'm quite, I'm not so, you know, I don't go left and right, you know, I'm quite, I would say, easy on that. And if you are in the top 3 or 4 or 5, you know, then the riders in front, they just keep their line, you know, and they just go, you know, go the good lines, and then you follow. But if you are like 15, 20th, you know, it's like a crazy thing out there, you know, they all go left and right, and you know, that's
all the young kids coming through.
Yeah, that's a bit still of a weak point for me, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, look, more from Kevin in a moment. Just a quick reminder then how you can follow us. And I tell you what, we've got a fantastic offer for you right now. If you don't have MXGP TV yet or know someone that needs it, then maybe now is the time to sign them up or sign yourself up, because with the season almost over, we're offering you the chance to subscribe with a discount of 70%. That's right, 70%. Catch all the action live and on demand from the first round in Argentina to the final GP in Italy at the end of September. And guess what? It gets even better, because the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations, all episodes behind the gate, our 26-minute highlights program, plus every race from women, EMX 125, 250 and 300 are also included. It sounds too good to be true. And I tell you what, that's just got me all excited. I feel a little bit moist under the collar.
You're always excited,
Oh, it's
Paul.
like
Paul's
warm
always
tea.
excited.
It's like warm tea.
Back to Kevin now. Kevin, it's that time of year where everyone's talking contracts, you know, gossip in the paddock and
Silly
everything.
season.
Silly season. Do you have any idea what you're doing yet? Or, I mean, dare I say, is retirement on the cards? Is that a possibility for you?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think everything is on the table now, and you know, hopefully I can still try to ride and another season, because I still feel good. You know, I still feel like I want to put the effort in the winter. You know, I want to keep working on it, and yeah, it would be a shame if I had to stop, but I also understand, you know, people want to choose a bit more on younger riders instead of older riders. But you know, I still think if I'm fit, you know, if I'm healthy, if I'm, you know, I can still battle in the top 10, and you know, so yeah.
But if, just say you did, and obviously no decisions have been made yet, would this go down as probably one of the sweetest victories for you because of when you won it, and because it was at home?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you know, because it was unexpectedly there. You know, we had checked before, and then I got a blister. You know, I couldn't ride the whole week, so you know, I was riding not good in the sand. And I know every other season we were really working on the sand, you know, to go to Lommel GP. And now, you know, I actually didn't ride, so I was just riding, and you know, and I don't know, something, it just clicked, you know, and I was just positive the whole moto, and then everything went fine. So. Yeah, it was a nice win. I think it's actually my only win I had in Belgium on a GP. So.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any social media
questions. Oh, no,
questions.
we do. We have one
really?
social media question.
Did one just come in last minute?
No, we have one social media question. This one's from Jentelharten22.
Oh.
And she says, when is it your turn to get up early and entertain Jaden?
No pressure. Hopefully in 2 years, 3 years. So.
Kevin, that is not fair. That is not fair. Jentel, I'm with you all the way. He needs to get up early.
No, what she means is she'll start taking care of the kid while these two go and enjoy.
If you need a babysitter, I'm always available.
Just real quick, first impressions of the track here in Afyon? Liked it? Was it okay in practice?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think it's a good track. It's wide everywhere. So, yeah, start will be key again. But, yeah, should be good.
Cool. All right. Well, look, Kevin Strybos, thanks for joining us here. All the best for this one and the remaining 2 rounds as well. We'll meet Louis Vosters in a minute from Volvo Yamaha. But before we do, let's catch up with some of the action from last week in Bulgaria. Here's highlights from MXGP Race 2. Cheers.
It wasn't the best jump for Jeffrey Hurlings as the gate dropped for MXGP Race 2, but he was able to hold a nice tight line through that first turn, just like he did in Race 1, and would come out behind Tony Cairoli, who grabbed his 18th foxhole shot of the season as the two Yamahas of Van Horbeke and Simpson fell. Paulin was buried mid-pack as well. Cairoli led from Hurlings. Geiser and De Salle were battling over third and fourth. De Salle eventually lost out, though, to the 2:43. Halfway around the first lap, and Hurlings sensed an opportunity. Both riders messed up coming out of that bottom turn, but it was Hurlings who came out with the lead. Geiser well placed in third behind the two KTMs, as De Salle did his best to fend off the 461 for the second race in a row. Geiser tried to charge up the inside of Cairoli as he looked to take second place away from the 222. Then Febvre made a mistake. He fell from fifth, picked himself back up at eighth, and had it all to do again. First man on his hit list was a 21 on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Gauthier Paulin, and it got very close at times, but eventually Febvre did find a way through. As Siwa had a deja vu moment all of his own as well as he battled once more with Tommy Searle on the Bike It DRT Kawasaki. Max Anstey was the second of the Husqvarnas to feel the wrath of Romain Febvre. The Frenchman launched past the Brit as he continued to pick off more positions. He was now up to sixth. The move on Coldenhoff eventually got him into fifth place. Anstey followed through as well, and he moved into sixth behind the Frenchman. Tommy Searle, Gauthier Paulin, Jeremy Siwa were all in their own little battle for 8th, 9th and 10th, but Jeffrey Hurlings was in scintillating form at Sevlievo. Cairoli hung on for second, Geiser third. De Salle for Monster Energy Kawasaki was on course for another podium in that fourth place. But it was Jeffrey Hurlings who was victorious once more. 27 race wins in the books now. His 12th double moto victory of the year, 14th Grand Prix win of the season, and his 81st career Grand Prix win. Geiser and De Salle with their 6th and 7th podiums of the year, respectively. Geiser, though, edging out the Belgian for second place. The gap now, though, is starting to increase as Jeffrey Hurlings almost has one hand on the MXGP trophy as we head to Turkey.
Welcome back to our final part here on our MXGP TV studio show. We're round 18 now of the FIA Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Turkey, here at the Afyon Motorsports Centre. And Louis, I was almost going to call you Louis Vuitton then, because that's my personal thing for him, but Louis Vosters from Wilvo Yamaha, of course, team owner, team manager, and great to see you again. Sorry that we've waited so long to bring you in, but last year you were the brand new team in the paddock, okay? And how has this year compared to last year? What have you learned over sort of last year and this year about team ownership, team management?
Yeah, as a title sponsor and with the MX2 team, for sure, I was many years in the paddock. But sure, last year it was our first year, and this is our second one in the MXGP. And yeah, I can say we improved a lot. I have great people around me, a great crew, but also the professional support from Yamaha Motor Europe. So it feels great, and I'm enjoying it.
Good. And we know how tough it is in MXGP, the class. And let's start with Sean Simpson. We'll go through your riders one by one. We'll start with Sean. Obviously, he had a GP win last year, but this year's been a little bit more difficult for him, hasn't it? How has that been for you?
Yeah, it was not easy, but yeah, he has a lot of bad luck, and at the Russian GP he became injured. It took quite a long time, and afterwards he has been working really, really hard, and the last few GPs it became better and better, and had some good results. So yeah, it was not easy for us and for Sean, but yeah, I'm quite happy what he did the last 2 years.
Yeah, and obviously this was probably the best we've seen him ride all year at the start of the year in Argentina. We've not really seen that since then, have we? Like you say, because of the injuries. So,
yes.
Yeah, frustrating.
Yes, frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, Sean he's the sort of person that's always tries to remain positive when things are tough. But how do you deal with those setbacks as a team owner?
in my opinion, it's really important to support your rider as much as possible. And yeah, we did it also with Sean. So we're trying to do our best and give the best support we have. And you have to understand that it's not always that easy. So, but I think overall, yeah, we are not. Yeah, we're quite happy what he did, but not what we expected. You know.
Okay, well, what about Jeremy Seewer? I mean, he seems to have adapted to the MXGP class in his rookie season very well, so you must be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, Jeremy's a real fighter, you know, and he was really consistent the whole season, and he's 8th now in the championship, so we as a team are really happy what he did till now.
Well, last year, he was in MX2. What did he bring to the team this year? Was it maybe a different style of riding or setup that could help the other riders, or was it his personality? Because we all know Jeremy is quite a relaxed, fun-going guy, making jokes. So what did he bring this year to the team?
Does the atmosphere change a little bit when he's there?
Yeah, he's quite different, as you think. Yeah, he really likes a strong and a good structure, you know. And if you give him the right structure and the right elements to work with, yeah, he feels good and he feels happy. And yeah, we try to give him this, and yeah, I think because of this, he did a great job.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're just looking at him here in Ottobiana again. So, Yamaha 1-2 behind Roman Federer, but that's what we, I guess, we're hoping to see of. It might happen the next couple of races, but you know, that's what we expect from him going forward, isn't it? Really, I guess this kind of performance is more up the front.
Yeah, we expect that as well, and but he's still young. It was his rookie year, and I think he will step it up next year when he goes to the factory team, and I think this guy has a lot of potential.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, if Sean, then obviously we've talked about Sean earlier. If he had a difficult season, Arno Tonus, his one is just like off the scale because he didn't turn a lap yet in MXGP. How frustrating has that been? Obviously, we had him on our studio show the other week. So,
yes.
But from your side, you know, you're like, yes, we're looking forward, and then double surgery. It's really difficult to deal with, I expect.
Yeah, in the winter, all three had a great preparation. They trained a lot together, and Arno was really fast. And at the pre-season race, he became injured, and it was really serious, and it took him the whole season to recover. But I'm really happy that he renewed his contract with Yamaha and that he is with us next year. And I think he will do really well next year when he stays healthy.
Okay.
Well, as Paul mentioned, we had him on the studio show in Switzerland, and he said he's back riding. Do you know how that's going, how he's feeling?
Yeah, till now, yeah, he's riding for some weeks, and yeah, he surprised us more or less. For sure, he take not that many risks, but he's doing really well, and we didn't expect that he was already on this level.
Okay.
Well, before we go, last year you experienced the podium, Sean in Indonesia, but Arno in Switzerland. Again, we had him on in Switzerland a couple of weeks ago, so we know what it meant to him. But what about you? How emotional was this race, this result for you? The performance from Arno, winning the race in front of his home fans.
Yeah, to be honest, this was for me the most special moment in motocross till now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, because?
Yeah, it was so special. I think it was the first MXGP winner from Switzerland.
Yeah.
And it was Arno Tonus, and yeah, he's a great guy, a great rider, and for us it was so excited. So for me it was the most special moment in motocross.
Wow.
Yeah, and he afterwards he said, you know, he couldn't breathe during the race because there was so much going on, and but yeah, it was a fantastic moment. Actually, he was the first MXGP race winner in Switzerland. But just before that, Jeremy, I think, won the MX2 race. So it was just a fantastic thing all around, you know.
Yeah, the atmosphere was great, and it's unforgettable.
Yeah. Well, look, Louis, thanks for joining us here on our studio show this weekend. Of course, all the best for the remaining 3 races, this one in Assen and then Imola. And then, of course, we'll head to the Motocross of Nations in the US. But just to recap, this weekend, You can catch all the qualifying races on MXGP TV 1 hour earlier than normal, actually, because we've almost got like a flyaway timetable. So qualifying here, local time, 3:25, MXGP at 4:10. And the races tomorrow as well, 12, 1, 3 and 4 are broadcast times. That's 1 hour less in Central Europe and 2 hours less. 3 on, as you can see on screen, for GMT. But we are out of time here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a couple of weeks when we go to Assen. Thanks to all our guests, to Louis, to Kevin, and to Brent as well. We wish them all the best for the rest of the season. We'll see you in a couple of weeks in Assen. Thanks for watching. Bye.